You obviously scored on decisive goals to get them to the Champions League. Didn't that make you want to stay with them though? Because obviously we know that you now have a new club in the same league, but taking them to Champions League, 2 trophies, did you not feel like, you know what, maybe I want to stay here and see how the new season pans out? How's life in Hungary? I'm guessing it's for you, you're in a fortunate position because you got your girl Marlo also in Hungary. And I know that she misses you as well because she posted on Instagram not too long ago saying that she wants you to come back to Hungary. So what's it like being in Hungary and having Marlo so close by?
Oh, it's amazing. Marlon and I have gotten so close. And we've actually discussed about possibly making our own YouTube channel because, of course, we're in the same country now and we're doing the same thing. So we might actually, you guys might be in store for some great entertainment. But yeah, having her around has been amazing. Of course, it's great when you're around like a like-minded person. So, she's an amazing girl. She's improved as well. Especially her mindset. I love how she thinks now. She's spending a lot of time focusing on herself. And how to improve so she can be even better on the field, right? Sorry, on the field, I should say. So yeah, I mean, whenever we hang out, it's a great time. We always crack some jokes and stuff, but we're definitely looking into possibly putting out like our own YouTube channel. So we'll keep you posted though with that.
What's it going to be about? Is it, strictly football? Is it football and music, or could it be
It'll
something else?
just our adventures in Hungary. Of course, music, maybe a little bit of dancing, football, just a combination of everything. I think it's important that we show how we are off the field. We're more than just footballers. So, we just have to discuss that, like what we're gonna do, and then go from there. But we'll definitely keep you posted.
I'm looking forward to it. I know it's going to be a good watch.
Yes.
Say it again.
How have you been?
Oh wow. Oh, you're so sweet. You don't get asked that question usually when you're doing interviews, but I've been good. Been good. I'm now like mainly working from home. Just working from home for the last like year and a bit. And it's going well. It was a little bit strange at first because I'm a bit like yourself, like I love my own company, but it gets to a point where you're just like, okay, I need some sort of human interaction, need to like get out there and get some fresh air and just like get moving. But it's been okay so far.
That's great to hear.
Thank you for asking. It's rude of me. I can't believe I haven't said it already. Congratulations, two-time champ. You've won the championship and you've also won the league as well. So you got 2 trophies under your belt. What was that moment like?
Oof, that was amazing. It's been so challenging like this past year because our team, like we had a lot of COVID cases between like the staff and the players, and we just had to find a way to make it work. There was even some times where we would pull some players from our second team because our roster was just so low. And I'm just so proud of the staff. I'm proud of our players for making it work. We got pretty much all of our players back by the end of the season, of course, when it mattered the most. But still, when we had a huge swipe of players that were out, the players that were healthy really, really stepped up. And some of the players weren't getting like 90 minutes usually. So it was great to see, okay, well, that's why I think it's so important when you have a team, everyone's ready, because you never know when things can hit the fan and then you're like, okay, well, we got to play this player. Everyone stayed committed to our goal, which was to be champions. And for me, I take pride in doing work off the field. I did a lot of extra work by myself, just because I knew like this was an important time. And as a foreigner, the team needed me, so I needed to make sure I was ready. Of course, there's league games and stuff. Sometimes I would score, sometimes get assists and stuff. But I knew at the end of the season, that's what mattered the most. Playoff time, big woman thing.
Love it. Do you feel, because you've touched on something quite key there as the foreign player, did you feel that added pressure, like, you know what, I have to be twice as good to even get into the team sheet, let alone to make the starting 11?
Absolutely. I think, when any club signs a foreign player, they want more. But here's the thing that I will always respect about Ferencváros. They had very good local players. So it's not like I came in and like, ooh, look at me, I'm the best player on the team. No, it wasn't like that. There were some really great local talents and the younger players as well too. I was very, very impressed with them. I'm like, this is great football. So in training sessions, we would always compete. No one was guaranteed a spot, and I love that. So for me, of course, I'm a humble player. I know that I can bring something different. Of course, my speed, my fitness, like it was on another level, of course, but I walked into that experience saying, all right, Tiffany, you know your qualities and you know what you can bring to the game. Try and integrate with the team. Of course, there's going to be certain things that are a little bit different, but I had to assimilate to their culture and their style of play. And, at the end of the day, I'm happy that I signed with the club and I'm happy that I was able to come big, in the moments that mattered the most, which was like the last two games. We had to win those games in order to be championships and qualify as well for Champions League. So I was happy to score 2 goals and get 1 assist within those 2 games. So that's what mattered to me the most. The other goals I scored throughout the season and stuff, Champions League, yeah, great, cool, but like this was what mattered the most.
Yeah, I mean those you obviously scored on decisive goals to get them to the Champions League. Didn't that make you want to stay with them though? Because obviously we know that you now have a new club in the same league, but taking them to Champions League, 2 trophies, did you not feel like, you know what, maybe I want to stay here and see how the new season pans out?
Yeah, of course. I mean, and there were factors behind that. So I don't know if I'm sure you were able to see my post, but sometimes there's certain things that players cannot control. So with my decision, it had to do with finances. It had to do with style of play. So how the coach saw me versus how I saw myself and integrating within that. Like it had to do with the changes in the league with foreign players. So there's like a limit on that. There's also too with stability. For me, I told myself, I said, look, I want to be able to be in an environment for the next 2 years and not go anywhere. So that was also another factor. So it's like, all right, well, if I'm getting an opportunity from another club and they're able to keep me for 2 years and financially like it's acceptable, I'm gonna go. And especially if I know too that they're building their roster to be better. Like I said, you know what? Let's go. Let's start this. So it had to do with different factors as to why I didn't stay. It wasn't just, oh, I'm just gonna go pounce on this other opportunity. There are definitely behind the scenes stuff. Obviously, some things I can't say, but this was the reality of it all, and I'm really happy with my choice moving forward. And I think Ferencváros, they're a great club, and the staff did a good job with me as well too. I mean, there's one coach that I absolutely adore. His name's Corey, and anytime I'd be like, hey, can we do some extra work, he's always there coming up with certain drills. Obviously sometimes I would go by myself and do things, but he was always down to help me improve, and I really respect that. And not all coaches are like that, right? So shout outs to him, he's amazing. And even our strength and conditioning coach, Laszlo, he was good too. I'm happy with my decision, and I'm happy with the club, and I wish them the best. But this is the reality of being a female footballer. Sometimes you have to make tough decisions, and you just got to flow with it. So I'm happy the next 2 years I don't have to worry about, okay, where's Tip going to go next? I know I'm going to be in a stable environment, a strong environment where, the team's growing.
And I'm happy for you because you get to stay in a country that you adore, and you get to stay in a league that could help you to develop your game, and that could only be good for the national side. And speaking of stability, being a female footballer, what are some of the difficulties or complications that come with not having stability in your career?
I think honestly, financially, that is the toughest. Unless you're playing for like top clubs, say like if I was playing for PSG or like the top clubs, Bayern Munich, like they have money where they could sign players for 4 years if they want. You know, there are certain clubs in the world, a lot of clubs in the world where they're like, okay, well, maybe we can give you a 1 year. Mostly it's always the 1 year, at the most 2 years, but you have to get lucky to sign that. A lot of female footballers will sign for the 1 year and be like, okay, is this a good fit for me or not? And personally, for me, I know if a club's a good fit for me or not after the 6 months. Like, I'll know, okay, we'll see how things go, you know? So I think the hardest thing is definitely financially. And as a foreigner, there's a higher expectation, of course, too. And there has been times in my career where I've had injuries, and say I've signed for a year and then maybe almost like maybe for 5 months or 4 months I'm injured or something. Then I got to bounce back and you have to start from scratch. And by the time it's too late, it's like, all right, well, that's another hard thing about signing a 1 year contract. You know, I mean, fortunately for me, I haven't had an injury for about over 2 years now, which I'm really happy about. And that also comes down to like strength and conditioning. I had to tweak my fitness programs and stuff. So, you know, I think honestly, it's financially for sure. And the amount of time that a club will give you, like contract wise. So if you're crammed with that 1 year, you better be able to assimilate quick, or you better not have any injuries because it's tough. You know, so yeah, I would say that. And also missing home too. Like for me, I haven't been home for almost a year, and so it's nice to be here finally. I mean, I don't have a lot of time, but yeah, there are some pressures for sure. Being a female footballer, you know, and you have to make a lot of sacrifices. So
Absolutely. And you're doing an incredible job at the moment. And I'm sure you continue to excel. You know, one of the things that really frustrates me is the fact that, and this is the reason why sometimes I've had to like hit you up and be like, hey, Tiff, how was the game? Did you score? Did you get an assist? Because the data that's out there is so minimal. Like it drives me crazy. So first of all, like I want to apologize for like hitting you up in your DMs and being like, oh, Tiff, did you score? Did you assist? It's not that I'm not like paying attention to your match. It's
yeah,
just that it's just so difficult to like track your progress, track whether you've been on the score sheet, track whether you're assisted or not. Like it's a tough task.
yes, no, I agree with you. I mean, I think that's where I think women's football can improve. There are some leagues that are very good with updates and like where you can watch all the games and stuff, and then there are other leagues that are not, and they need to be a little bit better. So I think, you know, for the Hungarian league, there could definitely be some room for improvement in terms of broadcasting games and stuff. Like because Ferencváros is a top club, like we had maybe about, I don't know, in total maybe 5 or 6 games that were actually broadcasted, but there should be more. You know, no, we probably had like 6 to 8 because of Champions League and because of the playoffs and stuff, but for the other clubs, like maybe middle of the table or whatever, they didn't have that. So I think, you know, and that's also finances, like what the president's going to be willing to put into the entire federation, right? So, you know, but they're improving, and I think the Hungarian league is definitely going to get better year by year. And I really loved playing in Hungary, so that's why I decided to stay in the country and like not go elsewhere.
I have to ask you why Hungary? Because I remember when the news broke, and I think I might have seen a picture of you standing next to your agent, or it might have been from your agent's Instagram. So whose decision was it for you to head off to Hungary?
Well, I remember I was quarantining. So this was like last year. And my agent reached out and was like, hey, Tiff, like we have an opportunity for you. I know it's not one of your one of the countries that you would like to play in, but this club is very good. They always participate in Champions League. They have some great players, great young talent and stuff, and also some experience. And we think it would be a great fit for you and stuff. And like, of course, financially, it was good. Like they were offering a good there. So I just like, you know what? Let me try something new and let me just go for it. And I did a little bit of research and stuff. And one of my agent's associate, he had a player there already. So I was able to hear a little bit about her experience and stuff. And it was positive because she was there, I think, for like 2 years, 2 or 3 years. She was a great player. So yeah, I was like, you know what? Let me try something new. I mean, I'm here in Canada. Why do I want to stick around in quarantine if I know I can go play some ball? Like, so I said, why not? And Budapest is a beautiful city, probably one of the most beautiful cities I've ever lived in. Obviously I'm biased because, well, okay, besides Mississauga and Toronto, I'll say Budapest is like is the next best city definitely that I've lived in. So I'm really happy with my decision. Sometimes things won't go according to plan, but you just have to take those risks, and yeah, it could blossom into something beautiful.
Incredible. What's your aspirations for the pending season?
Well, I think first year was like kind of my warm up year. And now obviously I know I have 2 more years to go. So my second season, I would like to be in the top three, like as the top three goal scorers. That would be amazing. Um, People might say, "Oh, why not the top goal scorer?" I looked at how I was last year, and I looked at the rest of the league and stuff, and I think going on to a new team, I have to be realistic. And when I'm setting goals like this, I like to at least be in the environment for a little bit and gauge as to, okay, where are my teammates at? Where am I at? How do I integrate and stuff? Now I can set some goals. So this is just in my mind right now. I would love to be in the top three. When I get there, and if I get situated and stuff, I might say top goal scorer. So we have to. I'm a realist. I don't like to just put things out there and just like, oh yeah. I want to just observe what's around me and say, all right, what is realistic but also attainable, and what's gonna keep Tiff motivated. So that's one of my things. And I have to also make sure I continue my fitness, staying strong, because I have to be ready whenever I get a call up for the Reggae Girlz, that I'm sharp. So that's really important to me. Of course, the next 2 years to be ready for that World Cup, right?
Mm-hmm.
My priority right now is to stay fit, keep working on my technique, stay open to people's ideas, and like continue to get myself out there, do a lot of media stuff as well too. And yeah, and I think for the season, it's going to be a great season. I'm really excited to meet my teammates as well too. So
Well, I'm going to be following you all along your new journey, your new chapter. And I'm praying to God that you do manage to be, if not the top goal scorer in the top division in Hungary, then as you've just rightly put it, within the top three. So I'm going to be watching and praying and obviously cheering for you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
No worries. And you've touched on the Reggae Girlz, so it's only right that we talk about the summer mini-series that just concluded. You met up with the girls after so long. Like, I was beginning to lose hope and lose faith. I'm like, when am I going to see the girls play together again? And finally it happened. We beat Nigeria 1-0. I loved every moment of that. And then subsequently lost to the host. I think that was somewhat expected. But the scoreline might have surprised a couple people, because obviously you and the girls haven't played together for such a long time that some people would have thought that, this is the reigning World Cup champions. The last time out, they gave us a hammering. But this time round, I felt like it was a respectable scoreline. How do you feel about the summer mini-series?
It was. I think against Nigeria, we did some really great things. There's just, you could tell that we need to be together a little bit more. But what helped us be pretty good throughout the whole series was what players did when we weren't in the national team environment. So we have a lot more players now playing in a professional environment, and that has helped us so much. You could tell, just the sharpness for certain things. Yes, of course, we could do better with connecting passes, and overall our cohesiveness could be better. Yes. But that starts with having more consistent camps, and I think it says a lot that, of course, we lost 4-0 against the States, but it's 4-0 against the States. Like, wow. There's, of course, some room for improvement there, but we still had our random moments that were like, ooh, like, okay, like we're close, where we could have had we could have scored some goals. For example, in the first half, I remember playing a really good ball that beat the entire defense. I'm like, if we had one player there just to tap it in, amazing because we practiced it in training earlier in the week. So it's like, and for me, I like to try things. I'm not going to just do the same thing every single time. So I'm like, oh, this is an opportunity. But now that's like a mindset thing. It's like, okay, Tiff's going down the line. We need at least to have one or two players in the box getting ready for that cross because she will put one in, right? So, and even with the Jody Brown, she had an amazing opportunity in the second half. And, you know, honestly, that girl, sky's the limit for her. Great player. I think it was the legs because she played a lot of minutes, and I know a fresh Jody Brown would have been able to get a shot on target and probably score. So those are the things. It's like there's small little things that we need to tweak, but it's like we can compete with the best in the world, you know? So I was really proud of our team throughout that entire series. We know that we need to improve in certain areas, but it is what it is. Like I'm excited to see what happens in the near future. You know, we have World Cup qualifiers coming up, and hopefully we can get everyone back together. And you know, we're missing a really good player due to COVID. So, and she's from England. I think you know who I'm talking about. Spence. So if we had her, I think that could have definitely have helped our situation. But you know, I'm looking forward to meeting her and like seeing what she can add to our team.
I agree with every single word. And you're right. We have some players who are playing in some prolific leagues. We have to big up Alison Swaby because she won the Coppa Italia with AS Roma. And we also have to shout out Bunny as well, now moving on to Manchester City. And I'm happy because that's what I've been wanting. I'm like, can we just get a reggae girl? Like this was before like a couple of the English-born players came on board. I was like, can we just get a couple of the Reggae Girls in the WSL, please? And now I finally got my list. Like, I've got my wish. I'm literally like spoiled for choices now. But naturally, I'm just like, I'm buzzing. I'm just excited to like see Bunny in the Manchester City shirt. And I think that she could easily be the top goal scorer. So I know she's going to rip things up.
Absolutely. I remember like talking to her a couple years ago and she was like England's on her list of places to play. So it's great though that she you know, did so well in France. And that's also another thing. Sometimes some players need some time to really do some big things, you know. So her first year in France was like a warm-up year for her as well too, and she just broke through like her second year. So you know, I really respect her, and like sky's the limit also for her. She's a quality player, and you know, we didn't have her in the series, so we had to just figure something out, you know. But adding her, if she was at the series, I think we would have probably have had more goals. Not probably, we would have had more goals. And yeah, I think she's a great player, and I'm excited for her to be back with the group.
I agree with you. You know that through ball that you was talking about? I can guarantee you if Bunny was on that field, problem. Like we would have scored. Like I'm not discrediting the other players like yourself and the other outfield players. I'm not discrediting nobody. But like you said, if Bunny was in that game, it would have been a problem. But like I said, I'm pleased with the scoreline. I know for people who are watching, they're probably thinking, why are you pleased? You lost. But please understand, this is the World Cup champions, the current champions of the world. And it's USA, like they have ballers in every single position. So to lose 4-0 against the USA, like there's no shame in that.
Stepping stones, I'll tell you, stepping stones for sure. You know, I think the next time we play them, it will be a better match for sure. You know, I think they scored really early and that kind of threw us off, you know. But you saw in the second half, they only scored one goal. So we did something right in terms of defensively. We made a couple of adjustments. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
And you also brought up the babyface assassin, as I like to call her, little Miss Jody Brown. Listen, I'm banking my money. I'm not a gambling person, but if I were to gamble, I'm banking on her coming to the WSL, maybe in the next 2 to 3 years' time. Again, that's another selfish wish for myself, but I think she's the next one who's gonna come over.
I could totally see that. You know, it fits her style of play as well too. You know, so and like you said, it would be great to see more Jamaican like ballers in England. You know, but it's been so difficult to get in that league though. There's requirements? Because I remember there was a time where your country had to be in the top 40, and then you had to have a certain amount of appearances like for your country. So there's different rules and stuff. Like it was crazy. So I guess they've made a couple of adjustments. But yeah, I think it would be amazing to have more of the Reggae Girls playing in that league, you know? So we'll see.
You know, the one way of having more reggae, the one way of having more reggae girls come over and play in the WSL, is if I start an agenda and just start saying this player's great grandmother or somebody in their long lost family has an ounce of English in them, because you know the English will lap it up and
Right.
jump onto them. Like that's one of the reasons why I'm so happy that we've capped Khadija, because I can almost guarantee you that they will do some digging up and say Khadija's great grandfather is English, and all of a sudden she's eligible to play for England. So I'm glad that she's capped by us, and there's nothing
Right.
that England can do to put her in the
Yeah.
squad. And I have to ask you, because this is something that I always touch on. I always credit you girls for your chemistry within the team. Like, where does that chemistry come from? Because obviously I've met you girls in person, and I keep telling people like what you see on TV or whether you go and watch them at a live match, like that's not for show. Like outside the field of play, off the field of play, like this is exactly who they are.
I think, you know, Jamaicans in general are very laid back and like chill. So I think when you have a lot of laid back people who could just vibe, it makes it so much easier instead of people just so tense and stuff. We're very open-minded as well too, and I think that's what helps us flow off the field and on the field, you know. So I think it just has more so to do with our laid back approach. But at the end of the day, it doesn't mean we're going to be laid back on the field. Like we still come to play. We're very competitive. But I think that really definitely has to do with our just the chemistry part of it. It's easier to connect with the girls off the field. And, you know, of course, I've only been around for about 2 years, but it was not very difficult for me to integrate into the team. And I respect that, you know, and the girls have been so welcoming and like comforting. And if I've had any questions, I'm not afraid to ask anyone on the team, you know. So it's great. It's a great atmosphere to have because you don't have that everywhere. You know, even for me, you know, I have a lot of experiences playing in different leagues and stuff. And, you know, my so integrating with certain teams has been very difficult, and others like pretty smooth. But I would say with the Reggae Girls, no problems at all.
And you know what I like as well, the Reggae Girls, and I think it's completely unintentional, or I won't discredit someone because maybe it was intentional. They really do represent the Jamaican motto of out of many one people. For me, like you're not gonna find a more diverse squad than the Reggae Girls from head to toe, like this complete diversity. And I think that's what helps you to like bond so well, because you can easily relate to somebody who's in the team who may not be the same skin color as you.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's so important, you know, to feel like you're a part of the team, you know, and accepted for who you are. And that's what makes like playing for the Reggae Girls amazing, because I always felt like I was a part of the family, even while I was new, you know. And it's always nice too when they're just bumping music before trainings or after trainings. It's just a whole vibe.
Speaking of music, who is the DJ? Is it Jameson?
Yeah, usually it's either Yaz or I now. So I brought my speakers, my JBL Extreme speakers. So we were partying it up, like even on the bus rides to trainings and after trainings. Usually it's Yaz, yo, that, you know, like, Yaz, come hold this speaker. You take over. But sometimes I'll DJ as well too. So
Bless her. That's so sweet. Like, Tiff, I have to go there. I didn't want to, but I'm gonna have to go there because it's been bothering me. Let's talk about those jerseys behind me. Not the 1990, not the 1998 one, but the old Umbro jerseys. So both the away kit and the home kit. So as you know, Umbro's come out with the new kit, and I'm guessing you'll get to play that in your World Cup qualifiers if you're lucky. But I've noticed on the back that it says Reggae Boys. So first of all, how do you feel about that? And secondly, do you have a bespoke kit? Or are you expecting to get bespoke women kit?
We're not. I'm not sure actually if we should get a Reggae Girlz kit. I think we deserve it by now. So I'm not sure actually the behind the scene details on that. I'm pretty sure our staff or the management will try and see if we can get Reggae Girlz, because why would we have Reggae Boys at the back of our jersey? That doesn't make sense. So I'm not sure. I mean, it would be sad if it was, if we're Reggae Girlz but we have a Reggae Boys thing at the back. That would be sad. I'm hoping they can figure that out, or without anything at all, but they should be able to put something, you know. At the end of the day, the kit is nice though, I can't lie. Like, I looked at it, I'm like, okay, it looks fresh, it's different for sure. But yeah, we'll see what happens when we hear more about that, because I honestly haven't heard more. I only saw the photos of the jerseys and I'm like, oh, those jerseys are nice. So yeah, I can't really speak much about it just because I don't know much about that right now. But I'm hoping you've had adjustment.
Because you've had to play in the jerseys that says Reggae Boys on the back before, haven't you?
Well, since I've been around, I don't remember. I don't recall playing with that. But I think we have had in the past like some kit, like off the field kit that did say Reggae Boys. So I'm like, I mean, big up to the Reggae Boys, but we the Reggae Girlz. So let's represent us, you know? That's the other thing too in women's football. Like, we need more exposure, you know, because we, at the end of the day, we're still doing the same thing as the guys. We still have to make sacrifices. We still have to put in that work every day, you know, keep our bodies fueled. We still have to do appearances, media appearances and stuff. We still have to perform on the field, you know. Like, there's so many things that are the same. It's just, of course, the amount of money that men bring in versus women. But at the end of the day, I still think we deserve more, you know, and that's going to take some time, you know, and it's going to take some patience. But I think as long as females keep speaking up about it, about equality, we'll get there, you know. I hope one day, even if I'm no longer playing and it happens, I'll be happy. Like, all right, well, our generation had to go through the nonsense, but at least now the younger generation can experience what we have deserved for a long time, you know. So stepping stones, and that just requires patience as well too.
Equality and equity for the trailblazers. I definitely think you deserve it, because you gave my generation, the current generation, something that we have not experienced before. I'm far too young to remember World Cup 98. Like, I can try as much as I want, but there ain't no memory there unless I go and read books or newspaper articles, whatever it may be. So, like, you guys literally took me to my first ever World Cup, first major tournament, and that's just something that I will carry for the rest of my life, because I got to see my country compete at a World Cup. I think my feelings would be different if it wasn't my country of birth, but considering it was Jamaica, like, you know, hats off to all of you, because you're all like living icons and legends in your own rights.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm honored and just humbled. And, you know, I think going to the World Cup, making history with the Reggae Girlz, it just inspired the world and inspired younger kids in Jamaica to just want to maybe be a part of it one day, or just go overseas, take that risk, go play overseas and grow on and off the field. So I'm so happy to be a part of that group and to be constantly motivating other people. It doesn't even have to be players. It could be just people in general, you know, to just the mindset of, if you want something, you got to work really hard. And you also have to be aware that there are going to be obstacles in your way. And like, if you have that positive mindset and that go-getter mentality, you can do anything that you want. So.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, I agree. Going forward, what are some of the changes that you would like to see put on the table and also like first of all put on the table but also implemented to make the Reggae Girls visibly better across the world? Because I know there's a lot of people who know about the Reggae Girls and support the Reggae Girls. You only have to look at the World Cup. So many people from various diaspora community came to France to watch you play. But if
Yeah.
you could bring forth some meaningful changes, what would it be?
I would say financially. I think we need more sponsors. We need to. Here's the thing: it's money related, pretty much, because it's like, all right, well, if you have the money, you have the resources, and you'll be able to make it work. Have camps and stuff. I think that's the biggest thing for us. Like we have good scouts. Like there's been many different players that have come in and out of the program and stuff, and even like our players from England. Like we're getting looks from there and people are coming in. So we have the talent. It's not like we don't have good enough players. We do. It's just about putting the extra work in off the field, and that's finding more sponsors, getting more camps in. If we can get more camps in, so every time there's a FIFA window, we should have a camp. I'm sorry, there's no more excuses. I think moving forward, we just made a camp work during the pandemic, and it was fantastic too. Even like the COVID protocols and stuff, us getting tested pretty much every day or every other day, like that was so important, and then even we've added a sports psychologist to our program. That is amazing because there are so many things that people don't know that we have to personally deal with as athletes, and to have that extra support is amazing. So that's something I'm really actually happy though that the federation found a way and our staff members found a way to get a sports psychologist involved with us because like even like the bonding and stuff last camp was amazing. So and we learned a lot of stuff about each other. So yeah, I would just say financially just try and find a way to have the resources for us and so we can shine and we could be better than our previous appearances and stuff. That's the biggest thing, to be honest. I think everything else will fall into place. But yes.
Absolutely, I agree with you. And I know people who follow the Reggae Girls know, and even if you just got a glimpse of them at the World Cup, you know that the potential is there, the talent is there for you guys to go one step up better than what you did at the last World Cup. I have total confidence in you and the rest of the girls, and I'm sure that you will qualify for the next World Cup. If that's not the case, I'll be completely floored. I don't even want to tap into that
Yeah,
because I think that you have what it takes to
absolutely.
qualify.
Absolutely.
And I think looking at the federation, I think before we can get to making those larger changes that you touched on, so like those financial changes, which you absolutely deserve, I think it starts off by looking at the basics. So like, the idea, the fact that you're playing it, you could potentially play in jerseys that have the Reggae Boys on the back, or even for the fans as well. I can't speak for all spectators, but I'm not comfortable with buying a jersey that says the Reggae Boys because I support Jamaica, I support the Reggae Girls and the Reggae Boys. So for me, it's just sorting out the little basics and just acting like a professional because I feel like sometimes we don't move as professionals.
I mean, that's another thing too. It like I hate to say this, but it always ties back to money. It's like
Mm-hmm.
finances because at the end of the day, yes, the Reggae Boys have their jerseys and stuff. Like we have our jerseys, but we should be able to afford Reggae Girlz at the back of our jerseys. Like I don't see why that should even be a conversation, to be honest. So that's the thing. Like, all right, we have both of these national teams putting in that work equally. Everyone's grinding, everyone's going, playing professionally and stuff, coming back. And, it's like we have to think about it's a respect thing as well, too, you know? So that's going to come in time. But I would say if there's anything that I would want the JFF to focus on in the future is trying their best to find more sponsors for us and getting us on the pitch more often. We will make sure we're fit, we'll make sure we're mentally there. They just need to find a way to get us on the field more, period. So I'm sure they're looking into that. And, it's just going to take some patience as well too. But yes, like, and I don't like to bash anyone or anything, but I think, to be honest, this is a respect thing, and this is all right, well, we need to make our Reggae Girlz feel just as important as the Reggae Boys are, because of course they pick up the Reggae Boys a lot as well too, but like, let's also do the same for women a little bit more, like, they do give us some credit, yes, and they have been there and they have helped us out, but they could do more, and I think they know that they can do more. So, and I'm not sitting here trying to call people out, but like, I'm a realist, and I will answer a question and give you my honest opinion. So that's what it is.
You're not calling nobody out, and you haven't been disrespectful. If you were disrespectful, I'll tell you, because I'm a bit like yourself, too transparent individual. So you've definitely not been disrespectful. You've just spoken your truth respectfully, and anybody who has been following the Reggae Girlz will agree with you. Like, the federation do need to give you girls the respect that you deserve. They're doing little stuff nowadays that's glimpses of their improvement. So their social media interaction has been better in the last couple of weeks.
Much better.
Much better. So you have to give credit where it's due. They are making minor changes, but with these minor changes that come step by step, have the girls in mind. Have the girls in mind. Because if it wasn't for the Reggae Girlz, we'll be looking at almost 3 decades from the last time Jamaica was at a major tournament, i.e. the World Cup. Last time Jamaica was at the World Cup, if it wasn't for the Reggae Girlz, we'll be sat here saying the last time we was at a World Cup was 1998. That's not the case. Last time we was at a World Cup was 2019. So you have to give the girls the respect that they deserve, because you deserve it. It's not easy. I'm not no athlete. I can't play football, but I know for a fact that there's so much sacrifices that comes with being a baller and a professional baller as well. So you deserve the utmost of respect. So like I said, it's all about balancing the equality and the equity. You can't give one and then leave the other one down there. Like, balance it. Give them an equal balance, because you deserve it.
Yes, find some ways for sure.
Absolutely. Before we get to the TIFF tape, because I'm going to go to the TIFF tape, because I've been waiting impatiently for some time now since the last World Cup. I have to ask you, what's it like going to all these other leagues as a Black woman? Because I'm asking you just so that I can get a deeper insight when it comes to like traveling across the world as a Black woman. Because there are times that I want to go to other countries and I'm like, man, I don't know about that, because I might need a team, I might need to walk with a team. But what's it like for you, though, like as a Black woman going to all these other countries?
That's actually a great question, because I have had to definitely tweak the way I am a little bit. I think I'm a very blunt person, and sometimes people can't take that. So I've had to kind of tweak my approach with stuff, or be able to communicate just in a different style. So that has been an adjustment within itself, and that was just like learning experience. The amount of time, like the amount of years I've played in Europe, like I've pretty much mastered how to get my message across in a way where it's not like, dang, that girl's like really harsh, like with how she speaks. You know what I mean? Like, and
the A word, the aggressive, right?
Yeah, but I've never been aggressive. I've just been like very passionate and
no. I'm saying people saying that you are come across as aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, no one has really used the word aggressive, but some people have been like, oh, like, because I'm just so like, if you have a problem, you need to discuss it with me. Don't give me this passive aggressive foolishness, because that's what I've had to deal with quite a few times when I've been in Europe, where sometimes they're not used to being very forward with the person. They'll do other things and be passive aggressive about it. You know what I mean? So I'm just very like, okay, I'm scoping out the scene, and I'm realizing there needs to be a conversation, because if there's not a conversation, then nothing will change. So I think for me personally, I always look at myself first and be, okay, Tiff, how can you improve? You might have a problem with a situation on the team or a player on the team. Look at yourself first, so then when you come and talk to that player or players or staff, you could acknowledge yourself first, and then you can address the problem. So I've had to do that a few times, but it's like, it's just my awareness. Like, I need to know where I am and how people operate, because if you don't, then you could easily just get thrown into a pile of, oh, we don't care about her, or, oh, she's black, she's different. Like, yes, I know I'm black, I'm different. There's been times I played on a team, I'm the only black girl, but I have to make it work, but also too, I if I can meet new people outside of football, then I will, So I've been a little bit more open with that as well too, and just separating myself sometimes from my teammates. So I have other people who I like to chill and vibe with, Even me getting my hair done is an experience within self, because I always find an African who can do my hair. Like, everyone's like, like, who you go to? Like, every single place that I played, I found a connect. These braids have to stay fresh. But that's a bonding experience too, because I'm around like a like-minded person, So yeah, I've had to make a couple of adjustments, and that's a part of the game. Like, I wish definitely that there could be more black female athletes, especially in Europe. But I don't want that to take away from like my journey. I'm gonna do what I gotta do, and if I have to assimilate into a culture but still keep who I am, then so be it. So yeah.
If I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I look at your lineup, or I look at Marlo's lineup, and I worry. I'm just like, oh man, where's the rest of the diversity? And
Right.
I'm fearful, like I'm literally fearful, like there you might not have no like internal issues with your respected clubs, but naturally I'm thinking, oh, I hope that their teammates are treating them well. I hope their coaches are treating them well. I hope the backroom staff are treating them fairly. So for me, like every time I look at either your team or Marlo's team, for like Den and Plummer, or even Khadija to an extent, I'm like, okay, their league is a little bit more diverse, so I'm
Yeah.
not too worried. But
Yeah.
with you and Marlo in Hungary, I'm like, oh my God, please tell me that they've been treated and looked after.
Yeah, I mean, we have. I think my last club, especially, the girls have been very comforting, and we had a lot of foreigners, like foreign players, so I didn't have any issues with like getting to know people and like doing things sometimes off the field. So that was great, but not all teams were like that for me. So sometimes yes, I would feel like the outcast, and I felt like no, I couldn't relate to anyone and stuff. So it is a part of people being willing to get to know you as a person first and then a player. But sometimes people will just be as a player, and they won't really get to know the person. But I've found that it's so important to do that while I'm traveling overseas, to get to know both, because if you can connect with the person, you can connect with the player, and
Mm-hmm.
your connection overall is strong. So it has been tough at times for sure, and I know that's why it's great to be able to reach out to my family, my friends back home, because even sometimes if I'm feeling like no one understands what I'm going through or whatever, then I'll talk to my family and my friends, to just feel that love and connection, because I can't get it everywhere, and that's the part of the
Mm-hmm.
sacrifice. It's tough sometimes where, like, people don't understand, as a foreign player, there are other things that we have to deal with, and I can't control what other people think of me. I could just
Yeah.
best Tiffany I can be, and if someone doesn't understand me or doesn't want to uh get to understand me, then that's their problem, that's not mine. So this Tiffany Cameron ain't gonna change. Like, I will elevate, yes, and I will always stay open-minded, but I am who I am, and it's like, if you cannot accept me, then that's your problem. Other people will accept me, So yeah, that's a great question though, because I definitely have gone through racism. Sometimes racism doesn't always have to be blatantly in your face or verbally. It could be behind the scenes, and sometimes I've noticed certain things, and I'm like, I feel like they're being racist, or they're being judgmental, and I won't say anything. Sometimes I feel like I have to speak up, and I do say something, or I'll talk to my teammates about an experience that I'm going through. So you don't want to assume that someone's being racist, but if it's like blatantly in front of your face, then it has to be addressed, and I've had to address certain things that I've felt before in the past. So yeah, it just comes with being a Black female athlete. It's tough sometimes for sure, but I'm still here. I'm still smiling, still being the best version of myself that I can be. So
And that's why I had to ask you, because I was thinking, yeah, obviously I live in Europe. I've experienced certain similar treatments to what you've touched on. And I know within myself, I'm like, you're treating me this way because I'm black. I might not have no solid evidence to present to you, but your
right.
treatment to me would be very different if I looked or sounded like you. And I know, like, for a lot of people, like, it doesn't matter how mentally strong you are, for a lot of people that can break you down,
Mm,
because with those unfair treatments, they force you to be something that you're not. So whether it's stripping away your identity or toning down your personality, like,
yeah.
that can affect a lot of people, like, no matter how strong you are. So that's why I was like, you know what, if I don't ask Tiff, I'm gonna ask Marlo.
Yeah, I think I like the word toning down for sure. Like definitely for me, I've had to. It depends on my like the situation and like where I am for sure. Like because I am a very expressive person, but it's just about you have to have the right communication skills. You have to know who you're talking to. You could say the same message, you could deliver the same message in many different ways. So it's like, all right, that's why even for me, I'm taking a coaching course and they say, okay, well, for this type of personality, you might have to take this approach, this type of personality, and others. So it's like really beneficial to know that. And not all coaches have that skill set either, by the way. So even it's good for me that I'm learning these things because I'm like, okay, well, I can approach my coaching staff in this way because they might not think like me, but I can still communicate certain things where they can understand what I'm trying to say. So
Mhm. And that's why it's so beneficial when you have a diverse coaching staff, because chances are, if there is representation that you can identify with, it's easier for you to understand, the way, the reason why a player might react to a certain situation and
absolutely,
so on. So you can better assist them.
absolutely. Yes, I
So what am I going to call you in the next 5 years' time? Am I calling you Coach Tiff? Am I calling? Is it the musician? Is it strictly Tiffany Cameron? Because what's going on. Like, you're juggling so many different things at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I recently discovered that I have a pretty sweet radio voice. So during quarantine and stuff, so I actually had to so I did a DJ series for Tough Gong Radio, and that was amazing. And obviously, while I was in Hungary, I didn't have the equipment for it. I just had to do it through my phone and make it work, but it sounded really good. I'm like, okay. So I have like a new mic now that I'm going to travel with. So if I have any future opportunities, and it's going to be quality that you're going to get from me. Of course I have the right content and stuff, but like the voice work was the most important thing, right? The delivery that you're getting across. So I don't know, because there's a lot of things that I can get into. Like my number one thing after football would be coaching for sure. So yeah, it might be Coach Cameron, but like I also might do voice work, like for maybe some radio stations or something. That could be on the side. I've always wanted to also work for Nike or Adidas or whatever sporting brand like would accept me um, in the marketing advertisement world. So that's another thing, because I'm very creative. So yeah, there's a couple things. Of course, even music will always be a part of me. I think the next like 15 years I'll still probably be dropping like random songs and stuff, like because I just love it. It just makes me feel good, and it's so therapeutic too. Sometimes when I'm going through stuff, I just write it down. All right. Or I'll even put it out there. I think it's important when people show, okay, Tiff has many sides to her. Tiff goes through some things too. And like, I'll be vocal about it, because I'm not perfect. I am happy, but I'm not perfect. So I like to show through my music too some of the painful things I've been through, because I think it can also inspire people as well too. Like, all right,
Mhm.
this is where she is right now. She also went through some stuff, but she
Mhm.
to get past it. So, I'm always constantly putting out content. Like what at least once a year, once or twice a year, I'll drop a song. I mean, I have so many other stuff going on, but I still like to do that. I actually dropped a song called "Go Off." That one, I have to make a music. So I'm planning on making a music video for it because I think it's gonna be fire. But I don't know if you've heard it yet, but it's on Spotify, iTunes, yeah, all places where you can find it online, just music channels and stuff. So yeah, go check that out.
Look at you plugging yourself. Marketing is definitely up your street. I think you're missing a trick here though, Tiff. Like before we get to Nike and Adidas, I'll say why not hit up Umbro because they're literally right on your doorstep. Maybe you could look at seeing how you market the Reggae Girlz and the first job, the first thing that should be on your list is to just give us a generic football kit. So no more of the reggae boys, or if it is gonna be reggae boys, no disrespect to them. Why not have bespoke kit for the reggae girls? So that could be a challenge for yourself.
Absolutely too. Yeah. Like I think any brand that could have me. But of course if it's gonna be with Jamaica and stuff, yes, Umbro would probably be the best option for me. And there's respect there. I'm a reggae girl, right? So if I can put in my input and stuff, and yeah, of course. I mean, I did have an Umbro connect from a long time ago. So if he's still in the industry, I can reach out to him and like, yeah, pass some ideas and see if Umbro would love to have me at some point.
Yeah, and I think if you're playing with your niche of being Jamaican and being the current reggae girl, or even when you retire and you go from the current reggae girl to Tiffany Cameron, the ex reggae girl, I guess you could also look at Puma as well, because I know a lot of people are just like, Puma is it. Like when you think of sports and Jamaica, particularly like the Olympics, you're thinking Puma. So I don't know, maybe Puma could create our next kit, just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I mean Puma is a great brand. I have Puma cleats that I wear. They're super comfortable. So yeah, I would definitely be down for that as well too. So whatever opportunity presents itself, I think but also it comes with me reaching out as well too, getting my feelers out. But of course, it's like one thing at a time. It's like, all right now I gotta focus on being the best reggae girl I can be, and that comes from playing in my professional environment and doing really well. So that those two things are priority right now for me. And then the other thing is, of course, continuing my coaching license. Right now, I'm working on my CMIB online, so to get that out of the way, fantastic. Then other little small stuff, radio, media stuff, marketing as well too, can be something in the near future for sure. So yeah, one thing at a time, or maybe two or three things at a time. Actually,
Listen, you can do it. You're multi-talented and you're a woman, so I know you can multitask. I'm not even gonna try and second guess that. Let's backtrack for a little bit because you touched on, stuff that you have been through. What's one of the things within the Black community that you think, this is a bit of a taboo subject, but I would love to change people's perception of it?
in the Black community, I would say, okay, as a woman, a lot of, I would say, men think, oh, women are like Black women are so like strong, they don't need us, and like they feel intimidated by that. But at the end of the day, we are who we are. We're going to be strong, and we're going to be independent. So to be open to that and be like, how can I build an empire with this queen or these queens? I think just not to be intimidated by a strong Black woman. And I think in general, I just think just to see past a face or just skin in general. Of course, at the end of the day, to be Black is a blessing, whether even though we go through all of our hardships and stuff. But it's so important to look at a human, like we are human. And it doesn't matter if I'm Black, red, yellow, white. I am a human being. I have feelings. Just for people to acknowledge that, because it's so hard to be placed in this other category, and oh, this person's like this, and like feel disrespected. It's just like at the end of the day, we're all created on this earth to love, and if we cannot give love to everyone, then we're not living. So I would just say that acceptance as a whole, it's not only about a me as a Black woman, it's a bigger picture, and just being more loving.
Mm-hmm.
everyone can be more loving. We'll have more recognition, of course, in the Black community, and we won't feel so much like an outcast. But to be honest, not everyone has love in their heart, or maybe they do, but it's about their willingness to share that. You know, so
Hmm.
I think in the Black community we can continue to speak up. We can continue to spread our love and our good vibes and our joy, but I just hope that people can just be more open-minded and more accepting, because I think we're not going to change in terms of who we are. uh yeah, it's just the level of acceptance, I would say.
Now, I agree with you. I definitely think we need more love and support. And as you rightly put it, acceptance from our fellow Black men. So hopefully, we might have a long way to go, but hopefully, during our lifetime, things will change for the better.
Yes, absolutely.
And I have to touch on the TIFF tape because I know we've kind of brushed on it now and again. Like, what is going on with this TIFF tape? Because, like I said, I've been waiting since the World Cup, and it's probably even pre-World Cup. Like, what's going on?
So
What's the latest?
I'm always writing, I'm always putting ideas together and stuff. And I do drop some things here and there. But what I really need is the time to be in a studio for like maybe 2 days in a row. And it's funny because like I haven't had the time, or, with the pandemic, I couldn't be in a studio. Like we weren't even allowed to. So it's like, when can Tiff have the time to literally, okay, she has all these, I've written so many songs. There's certain songs I haven't even dropped. And I'm like, these are bangers, but I need to have the time to literally maybe a weekend to go to the studio. I have Connect here already. But another thing too, I've been home for about 2 weeks and a little bit. I've had to spend 2 weeks quarantining. So
Hmm.
so far I've been free. This is my third day free of quarantine, but I have to be with my family. I have to be with my friends. So it's like I don't have time for that. But what I always have time for is writing. And like if I have ideas, I always jot them down and stuff. And like so there's a it's funny because there's a huge project in the making, and now it's just the time. Now it's the studio time that I need, So and I'm happy now I have my mic, so I can probably be dropping more things like frequently, So I don't know. I can't promise like, okay, this day it's going to happen. Like I can't. But it will happen. But I always keep my fans entertained because I'm always going to drop something. It's not like you're going to go through a full year and not hear anything from Tiffany Cameron. You're going to hear something. Well, putting something out on my Instagram, dropping a couple bars, or like me putting out a song and stuff, like you'll hear it. But I'm working on a music video for my most recent song. So that should definitely be out this year. Absolutely. If I'm lucky, if I can get some footage done before I leave, fantastic. But that's something that people will probably be looking forward to, that I can say, okay, all right, Tiff's gonna put out a music video. She hasn't in a long time. We gonna do this.
Remind everyone who is watching and listening what's the name of your current song. Like you said, it is available on our music platform. So, what's the name of the current song?
Okay, it's called Go Off by Tiff. And it's quarantine edition because I couldn't reach the studio, but it's still good quality. So I think you guys would love it. I mean, I could show you the chorus part of it. I think the chorus part is pretty cool.
Yeah.
You wasn't with me lifting in the gym. You was busy turning up and getting lit. The quest of success takes time and discipline, because life is a game. You have to lose before you win. And then I say, you wasn't with me shooting on the pitch. Like I switch it up. So
Okay.
much that grind, like you could judge me or whatever, but like at the end of the day, you weren't with me when I was doing the extra work shooting on the field. Like you weren't doing that. Like you were turning up. You weren't putting in that work. And then another thing, you weren't with me lifting in the gym. Like I'm out here getting stronger, and you talking like, ah. So I think that would be a dope anthem for females or just athletes in general. Like we put in
Mhm.
the work, and we always have critics. Like we always have some, oh, this person should have done this. Oh, why didn't she score? Oh, why didn't he save that penalty shot, or she save that penalty shot? People talk so much foolish,
Mhm.
and it's like you don't know what it means to be an athlete and everything that we have to go through.
Exactly.
And players go through things, like they make mistakes on the field. Even yesterday, with the game England game, everyone's saying, "Oh, Sterling should have scored." Yeah, he should have scored, but it happens. He's an amazing player, but you still have moments where sometimes things don't work out. So like, that's why I'm like, at the end of the day, you're always going to get critics and stuff. Like, people are going to talk, but the extra work that you're putting in and getting stronger. So this song was one of those songs where it's like, like, don't talk, just wait. So yeah, this is a dope song, and I really, really put a music video together. So that's in the works this year. So yes, definitely check it out. Spotify, iTunes, all that good stuff.
I know, I'm looking forward to it. I've actually listened to a snippet of the song because I saw when you put it on your Instagram. So all I need to do now is wait for it to drop, the video to drop on social media, and I'll be there liking it and sharing it for you.
Absolutely.
Does that affect you though? Like when whether it's you're playing for your national team or whether you're playing for your club team, does it affect you when you hear these critiques speaking on social media, or is it a fact of it depends on what they say? Because some people can be quite nasty.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think as a human, of course, like if you hear something like, wow, that was really mean, or but I also know, like, people get angry, and I'm aware that everyone makes mistakes. Even the best in the world make mistakes, and sometimes they should have scored, like, so people are gonna talk, and I think at first, yes, if I hear or if I hear something and I'm like, dang, like that kind of hurt, but for me, if something hurts me, I don't keep it bottled inside. I always have to talk to, like, a loved one about it, so I kind of release that energy of hurt and just get it out there, or I'll write about it as well too, so it doesn't stick with me. Maybe in that moment it burns a little bit to hear something, but I don't let that live with me for full days or weeks or months. Because I gotta let that go. That's like negative energy that I don't need in my life, because I know what I'm doing and I know I'm human and I make mistakes. So that's a great question though, because like honestly, that's a part of mental health as well too. Like, some
Exactly.
players really get like harassed and they have to learn to deal with it, and some players have to talk to sports psychologists because of it, and so yeah, it gets tough sometimes. But yeah, I don't let someone who I don't even know, or maybe that I do know them, like, affect what I'm trying to do. I can't.
Might be someone behind a burner account, Tiff.
Right. That's always like that, actually.
One of your enemy them behind a burner account.
Right.
How did you get into music? Like, what was it that inspired you to get into music?
Well, I started writing when I was in grade 5, so a long time ago. And I used to always love listening to Missy Elliott. Like, she's my favorite. Missy Elliott, Lil Kim, 50 Cent,
Lauryn Hill.
Eminem, yeah, Lauryn Hill, like MC Light. All those artists were like, they put out content like where you're like, ooh, and their lyrical flow, it was so, it was just so inspiring. So I'm like, oh, I want to write like that, or I want to feel like that. So even when I started writing, it was like pretty rubbish, but like I tweaked how I was delivering. So I would say now I'm the best rapper that I can be. Like, from before, I've really tweaked my delivery and stuff. So now I've definitely improved big time. So that's why I like to sometimes put out different type of content, or different type of flow. Sometimes I'll be fast, sometimes I'll be slow, give a little hip hop feel. So yeah, I've been really into it since the 4th grade, 5th grade in elementary school. So yeah.
And your favorite instrument?
Piano. It's just
I knew it because it's on your Instagram.
yeah, I love the piano and the keyboard. I also really think the cello is a very beautiful instrument, and actually one of my roommates in Germany, she played it. So I have actually she was a part of one of my songs. Like she had a nice like cello rhythm. Like, ooh, this sounds great. But yeah, I think the cello is a beautiful instrument. Also the violin. I really
Mhm.
love the violin and the drums, but definitely for sure piano, keyboard, hands down.
Excellent. Tiffany, it's always a pleasure speaking with you. I love our chats, whether it's just very vague in the DM or whether it's something like this one-to-one interview. It's always a pleasure speaking with you. And thank you so much for always responding to me as well, because nobody is entitled to anything, even though I have a platform that's there for players like yourself. You don't owe me no favor. So just because I reach out to you, that doesn't mean that you have to respond to me. But thank you for like always responding, and thank you for supporting my page from the jump. I've made so many pages to the current, and you've always like supported me on every single page. So just thank you for giving me that support.
Yeah, and thank you for having me. I think this conversation was amazing. It's so funny. I'm looking at our call and it's already an hour until it's like, woo, time's passed. But you're great with your interviews and you just make it fun. So it's like I'm having a natural conversation. Yeah, maybe hundreds of people are watching, but like it literally feels like, all right, yo, Crystal and I are kicking it off. Like, so, but thanks.
No, thank you.
Yeah, and
Sorry, carry on.
thanks also for putting us more out there. You know, you follow the Reggae Girlz, Reggae Boys. You know, activity in England and stuff. So it's cool and it's nice to have that exposure and just have more people know about who's Tiffany Cameron, or like just getting our names out there is amazing. And like I really appreciate you for what you're doing, and yeah, keep doing it.
No, thank you. That means a lot. I think the respect and the support goes both ways. But, even if you didn't give me that support, it would be like no hard feelings. I will still
Yeah,
plug your content because I created the platform because I wanted to showcase players like yourselves. That's why sometimes I don't plug like the high profile players because they already have larger platforms that cover them. So like,
so
the Reggae Girlz, it's just like a lot of people don't plug the Reggae Girlz. I can't force nobody to do that. So
yeah,
I just thought to myself, I might as well do that. But no, just thank you again for just showing me like some sincere support.
absolutely. And thank you for being you. Don't change for nobody, man.
I definitely won't, Tiffany. Thank you so much once more, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day.
Yes, I hope you enjoy your day as well too. Thanks a lot for having me.
Thank you, Tiff.
All right, take care. Peace.